Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you all are having a wonderful evening and a great week so far. Welcome to Midnight Hatter Live, the weekly variety stream where we talk Gundam gaming and Gunpla. I'm your host, Steven, aka Midnight Hatter, and joining me as always, the Blue Gamer Gundam Explainer, Adam Blue. How are you, buddy?
Doing good. You know what? I'm pumped just because of who I see in chat. Because this morning they were in a stream, and I was like, guys, tonight, Midnight Hatter, something's gonna
Tonight's
go
the night.
down. And this, what you've teased to me, is pretty cool. So
Yeah,
can't
I'm
wait.
excited to share what we've got so far, but I think we're going to be having even more fun as we start exploring some of the features that we're putting together. And yeah, it's just, yeah, I love these types of streams where we get to share a product as opposed to just kind of like talking and content type stuff. This is going to be one of those things where I
Yeah.
show off something that I'm working on that hopefully is going to be a physical object that you guys can hold in your hands soon, sooner than later. And yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned your stream this morning because I missed it, but I did not miss the news about the casting of the Legend of Zelda movie, which I'm very excited to hear about.
I know. Especially because they showed photos based on their looks in the movie, as if they're already doing tests, costume fitting, or whatever. But I want to ask you, would you prefer animated or live action?
That's a very good question. I kind of go back and forth on it when it comes to these types of things because, like, for instance, I know that the How to Train Your Dragon live action movie
Mm.
recently came out, and I'm a huge fan of the How to Train Your Dragon series. Um,
And I think it did like 5 or 600 million in the box office, which means it
Yeah,
did
it
really
didn't
good.
I think it came out at I forget what it was competing with because I think that that was part of the problem is it was competing with something that was gonna do a lot better.
Yeah.
I think that it probably would have done better if it had released a different weekend. But yeah, I mean, I love that they actually got Gerard Butler to play Stoic. Like, he was the voice actor in the animated version, he was the live action, version.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes sometimes it's better to just stick animated. Like, what's your
Yeah.
opinion?
Well, what I think is I think what's worked with Zelda in a way is how different the iterations have always been. To the
Yeah,
point to where the iteration of Zelda we see right now in Tears of the Kingdom, for instance, or Link. Did I say Zelda or did I say Link? The
I mean,
iteration of Link
same
we
difference.
see, I wouldn't want that to be a live action Link. I would
Fair.
rather the old green tunic
Green hat, yeah.
cap. And so then there's the idea of, well, what if you did it and it was stylized? And I feel like sometimes live action stuff misses that when it goes live action. And I don't mean to hate on Lord of the Rings, but Lord of the Rings sometimes got like super, and that's more fantasy, so it can get away with it. But the medieval stuff, when it's almost super detailed or
Yeah,
super extra detailed clothing, and sometimes it takes away from the it's supposed to evoke that time. Like, I think of Link just a standard green tunic, but I think
yeah,
because it's live action, there's gonna be a lot of detail and everything. But this is gonna be made by Nintendo. Well,
yeah,
and what I mean by that is family oriented.
yes.
And I think we've talked about sometimes when you're working in constraints, you can sometimes pull off better stuff. I think this is gonna be live action, but they're gonna make it family friendly, and so I think they're gonna have to try really hard to have a compelling story, and I think they're gonna do that. I think this is gonna be really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I have very, very high hopes for it. Like, I think recently when you look at some other, Nintendo franchises that have had successful box office,
Oh, yeah.
releases, something like Mario, right? Mario tends to, I think, work a little bit better in animation.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
this is no dig at the '90s movie because I actually enjoyed it as a kid, but
Yeah.
it did take like an alternative perspective that was more grounded and realistic. But Mario, in and of himself, is not a grounded and realistic character.
Yeah, in
Um,
fact, a lot of Disney I mean Disney, but I do mean that, Nintendo was
yeah,
purposely wanting to mimic the artwork of Disney characters in
yeah,
their work, and I think that kinda then goes with what you're saying here, where Mario is better animated because of that.
yeah, for sure. But I think that Link and Zelda, obviously the Legend of Zelda, being a much more grounded story kind of works in live action compared to Mario, which I don't think does at all. Like,
Okay, yeah,
you
you're bringing up another good point, because it's the what is the story?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you're talking
because
about a
if
boy that runs around cutting grass with his sword. You can see a real boy doing that. You can't really see a guy that jumps around and, like, punches bricks and,
yes, that's a really good point you bring up. I never that seems really obvious when it comes to deciding how to express something in a, live action or cartoon, but looking at, yeah, the story, the way the characters are moving through the world, is that something you can ground or not? That's why I think Batman can ride that line, you know? Um,
exactly. So and not all superheroes can because some
yeah,
of them are kinda silly, they're kinda out there.
maybe Superman? I haven't seen the new one, I meant to, I'm lazy, but
Neither have I. My brothers are swearing by it, saying it's
oh,
like,
okay.
the next coming, and I'm like, I just, I
Well,
can't.
and it could, though, do what you're speaking on, because I'm really enlightened by what you're talking about here. I do think that's what it sounds like James Gunn actually really had to do. It's like, well, this is from a comic book, and, even though I like the Zack Snyder stuff, it was
Yeah.
super realistic.
Yeah, and, like, and I'm not like a Snyder bro, so to speak, but I will defend what Zack Snyder did with The Watchmen because it makes the story in the Watchmen movie makes more sense than what they did in the comic book. The idea of like, "Oh, I'm gonna kidnap all these artists, and we're gonna make a big alien beast, and, like, all of humanity is gonna think that we're invaded by aliens." It's like, why would you do that when Doctor Manhattan's right there? Like, you need your
Yeah.
big bad villain that's gonna unite the planet. Doctor Manhattan's right there, walking
So
nuclear bomb.
so then when Zack Snyder was adapting, was that just the main narrative change? I mean, there might have been small changes, but that was the main
That was, like,
one?
the big, like, rug pull for sure.
So, then when he did, the Batman vs Superman movies, which, you know, I don't know what it seems like people didn't like them, I guess, because they didn't continue. That could be a production thing, but he wrote all those, right?
I believe so.
So, it's very interesting because he even wrote, The Army of the Dead or whatever that was, or Rebel Moon on
Yeah,
Netflix. I wonder how much his work is elevated when he has a writer that's doing a lot of the heavy lifting for him. And then because he can have his moments like that Dr. Manhattan thing, that's a big
yeah,
deal, but if the rest of it was adapted pretty cleanly, he was able to take it for what it is and really just take a certain part of it and really dive in deeper.
yeah. No, for sure, and I think that, in a lot of ways, Zack Snyder understood Watchmen better than Alan Moore did because Alan Moore, to this day, Alan Moore doesn't understand why people would like Rorschach as a character, and it's like, "Oh, you mean a guy that doesn't have superpowers that goes around and beats up child predators? Like, yeah, it seems like a pretty good guy to me."
Yeah. I love talking about this stuff. Very interesting.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, which, I think oh, man, I saw a meme on X the other day. I'm gonna call it X now, I'm gonna stop calling it Twitter. Um,
I don't think
someone
I
was
can.
like, "Oh, yeah, a guy invents a character called Rorschach and fails to understand how people would have different, interpretations of said character," and it's like, "Oh, yeah."
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, wow.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of superhero stuff coming out, obviously, Fantastic
Oh,
Four as
yeah.
well. I'm just tired of seeing Pedro Pascal and everything. I
Yeah.
saw a meme the other day about, like, they announced that, Voldemort in the new Harry Potter series has been cast, but they're not gonna say who it is, and it's like, "Oh, it's gonna be Pedro Pascal, isn't it?" Like, it's come on.
Oh, interesting.
Pedro
Is it
Pascal's been in everything, right? Star Wars,
right.
Marvel,
And
DC, video
and there's,
games.
like there seems to be this weird sort of online, like, people don't like how popular he is, and but also at the same time, I think sometimes the way like, he can be in a cool role, but I don't think he's made for all these roles he's getting. It seems like they're picking him to pick him, and then when he's acting, it's like, well, you know, like,
Yeah,
even Mandalorian, when he has the helmet off, I
doesn't make a difference. Like, I mean, and I think people could say the same about, like, a Chris Pratt. Like, Chris Pratt is kind of overexposed right now.
I don't know.
Um,
He could be Link, and
he very well
I
could be.
it's weird, I really like Chris Pratt.
Me
It's one of
too.
those that I feel like I could see him all the time, and I don't mind. But what is it with Pedro? Because maybe again, that's my personal opinion, but I do know he was in the movie The Fall of Sam Axe, where he
Oh, yeah.
played the villain against the main hero, who was Bruce Campbell as Sam Axe. He even throws a chainsaw at a car. So,
Well, that's pretty cool.
yeah,
Um,
2007 TV made for TV USA movie.
which is the best kind of movie that Bruce Campbell ever does, like,
Yeah.
when he's at his finest when he is allowed to be full camp.
Yep.
No, and honestly, I thought Pedro Pascal was fantastic in Game of Thrones, like, his character in that, he was very, like, boisterous and charismatic, and it made sense for him, and then when he meets his end, it's like, "Oh, man, this is like,"
I
um
I didn't see Game of Thrones, and I'm to be honest, I don't even know where I've seen Pedro Pascal other than
he had, like, a pretty solid career before he started picking up all of these big Hollywood roles, like, I mean, he was in
yeah,
Narcos as an FBI agent, so, I mean,
yeah,
he has a very impressive resume prior to the, like, I would say, overexposure.
yeah, definitely, and so you know what? There's that thing you think where maybe he seems overexposed, but he probably deserves this spotlight,
A lot of it is probably just being easy to work with. I mean, a lot of
which is a
people
good
over
thing.
yeah, it's like, you might not be the most talented person in the room, but if you're easy to work with, you're probably gonna get the job.
Yeah, I wonder if that's the same with, like, Nicolas Cage or
Mm,
Keanu Reeves because they don't it's not like you're hiring them to
they're not
work
gonna
on
rock the
this.
boat. Yeah.
Yeah, you're hiring them for their way of being, and
Mhm.
you're not gonna do that if they're difficult to work with, and you've seen Nicolas Cage in all these movies lately, so
Yeah, and he's done fantastic. I mean, Longlegs
oh, I didn't
was
see that
awesome.
one. I need to.
Yeah, you definitely need to. But what are we doing? We're talking movies right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting and exciting stuff going on in the Gundam world because right now, as of Friday, we have the Gundam Card Game has come out. Now, these are still the sample cards. Uh, my decks are still on order. I might be doing an unboxing stream this Friday, and I'll show off some of the starter decks as they've come out. But in addition to that, I do want to talk about G Generation Eternal, my weekly G
Ooh,
Generation Eternal update. Oh, look at that. I don't know if my microphone's picking this up.
yes, that is awesome.
So
That is
we've got the Jazzy Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt event going on in G Generation Eternal. Again, it's one of those events that you can fly right through. There's not a ton of levels, and they're pretty easy to play through. You can recycle units from the Mobile Suit Gundam timeline and get bonus tickets to fight the bosses. Um, I think this dropped on Sunday, and I've already gotten the super rare full armor and Zaku, Psycho Zaku. Um, I haven't played
I
with them yet, so I don't know like how they are as units, like whether they're worth going after, but like kind of worth
yeah, I
getting.
I gotta do because I logged in the other day, I remember it's like I gotta log in before I go on Steven's show just so I'm caught up, and I don't know what happened. Uh, Who knows? Like, if that's the thing, if I'm in a situation we have very different lives right now. If I'm in a
We do.
situation where I'm picking up my phone to play a game, it just doesn't happen. But I know
Mhm.
you have a lot of responsibilities where you're in a situation for long periods of time where all you have is your phone. So,
Exactly. Yeah,
I
I'm
get it.
sitting there, I'm, nap trapped by my daughter as it happens, and then, like, I get the alert on my phone at noon that's like, "Hey, there's characters visiting your base right now if you wanna go meet them," and it's
Oh,
like, "Oh,
hopefully it's
well, I guess I
fall.
better do all my dailies and"
Um, I wonder if there's a term for that. Games that, "Oh, this is a dad game."
dad games, yeah.
It's like a game you probably wouldn't play if you didn't have kids, but it's not a bad game, but you're playing it because you have kids, it's easier to play.
It is easy to facilitate on account of, like, the skipping and, like, it's really about resource management more than anything, and you can pick it up and put it down whenever you need to. I am disappointed, maybe this is my calling is I need to start making videos about this game because I see a lot of content creators that do make strategy videos for G Eternal, but the quality's not great. Like sometimes their voices are all like this. Is if you unlock a Psycho Zaku and you equip it with a different pilot, then you can resist. And like I don't know what you're saying to me right now, but I'm hoping that if I get the Psycho Zaku and I equip it with the pilot that you're saying, maybe I could do something. But like I don't know.
No, why do you think I started a Gundam channel? No, I'm joking.
Right.
Dude, dude,
Exactly.
you really need to do this because I have to thank Bandai in my weekly prayer session that, like, Steven is filling me in on G-Gen Eternal. No, but the tips you give are great. They're excellent. I really do think somehow if you can figure out an easy way to, like, I don't know, that I think people would like that.
Yeah, for sure. Something is there's potential there for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when it comes to these types of events, especially the story-based events, I think it's worth it to just play through them and unlock the stuff that's in them because a lot of times they will help you in other events and other like game modes. One of the things that I've discovered is that having a fully stacked roster from every possible series that you can think of and having them maxed out is going to allow you to get the most out of every other series, if that makes sense. So, like,
So
for instance, you know, the ultra rare EX Zazabi basically carried me through the first, like, month of playing this game.
yeah.
But when you get to something like the Thunderbolt event and you get bonus points and bonus tickets, bonus medals for completing it with either Thunderbolt units or Mobile Suit Gundam units, it behooves you to not rely on something from a specific series. So,
Okay.
like, the Zazabi, as much as I love it, I was like, "Well, I'm gonna bench the Zazabi for now and put in Casval's Gundam," which is effectively the same thing when I have it equipped with the Char Aznable as a pilot,
Yeah.
but I get 98 extra tickets per playthrough using Casval's Gundam versus the Sazabi. So it's like you having units from every series allows you to be more efficient, I would say, at completing these tasks.
Yeah, because I know what you're saying exactly. Because 'cause I'll be playing these other series, I forget which one it was, maybe a seed one or something,
Mhm.
and, like, it's like, "Oh, I have to redo all these units I don't care about," It's like, I've
I
already
know.
upgraded the ones I like, I just want but no, you have to and I think but that helps because then as new series and new things come out, it's probably good that you're constantly upgrading all your units.
And the one thing that I've learned, and this is it makes me so happy to say this, is that the number 1 unit in the game that's a free unit, you don't have to, like, get it in a pull or anything. It truly is the super secret rare Zeta Gundam that you can unlock, like, just via the default, like, development tree. The reason being that, obviously, it's the Zeta Gundam, it hits pretty hard, but as a
Yeah.
support unit, its high mega launcher actually inflicts a defense down by 30% penalty on the unit that it hits, and so when it comes to you know, beating like the eternal road stages and like those really hard stages, even if you have multiple Zeta Gundams. So for instance, both the regular Zeta Gundam and the white and pink Zeta 3, they both do this. And so you go in there and you use like, you know, any pilot that has like the support attack feature, you can support attack an enemy, drop their defense by 30%, and then you hit them with like an attacker unit, and it's going to do, that extra 30% of damage. I mean,
That stuff is awesome. That's what we were talking about optimizing, but it doesn't
yeah.
optimize the fun out of it.
No,
That's
no, I think in a lot
make
of
it
ways it's
yeah,
almost like you
finding
almost need to.
fun. Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude, there's some times where I could tell even if I was upgraded, like, the way they want you to play it. I gotta play it more. You do a
Yeah.
good job. I hope they send you checks.
Not yet, but maybe we'll keep talking about it.
Oh,
Um,
real quick, before we move on, what is your guess? I feel like since you've played the game so much, what are maybe your predictions of some either units or series that you think would make most sense?
well, the most obvious ones to me are going to be continuing IBO and Double O.
Oh,
And
okay.
this actually is a great segue into I've, still been watching Double O,
Oh,
continuing
yeah.
my journey through through Anno Domini. But in G Generation Eternal, Double O is one of the incomplete development trees. They don't have like the Arios Gundam or the Double O Gundam. So like, it's obvious that they're going to add it later. When is a you know, are they gonna continue to cash in on UC stuff like they've been doing, or are they
Yeah.
gonna like start to dip into some of the AUs that have been left behind?
Would there be more wings stuff that they could possibly do? Like from I don't I forget if it had stuff from the movie or not.
So the only movie unit they've had so far is the Death Scythe Hell, from Endless Waltz, and that was, like, one of the chase units, one of the banner units, during that last event.
Mm.
But yeah,
I wonder if they're
I'm
saving
I'm
it for that.
surprised that Wing got an event considering that, like, Wing is, like, complete, whereas Double O, IBO, and even Witch from Mercury are still kind of incomplete.
Maybe because of the 30th anniversary, because that's what I was thinking.
Probably
Like,
so, yeah.
but yeah, So I'm looking forward to the Hathaway event.
See, that
Requiem
would
for
be
Vengeance.
yeah, no Requiem for Vengeance yet either,
I would love that.
yeah. But I'm a little disappointed that you guys didn't tell me that I didn't actually have to watch all of Double O. So I just got past, the whole like desert mission in the Taklamakan Desert, uh, and I guess it's like up to episode 15 or 16, where they sit down Alejandro and they're like, now walk us through everything that Celestial Being has done so far, and it's like, oh, he just summarizes like the first 15 episodes.
To be honest, I appreciated that because I wasn't real yeah, I think I had longer time between the episodes. I love those episodes, to be honest. I think Victory does it in episode
Funny.
2.
Yeah, it's very Christopher Nolan-esque, to have like a meta character explaining to other characters the events of the story as they've unfolded. Like,
I'm telling you, that's why you're gonna like the movie.
is that
It's not li but I think you're picking up the vibes of why I think the
okay?
movie is is good, yeah.
I'm still
But
enjoying it for sure.
okay, cool. Okay, that's good. But, like, where would you rate it so far, like, among,
Hmm.
like, among the other AUs?
Among the other AUs, that's a very good question. Because for me, AUs, Wing is definitely number one.
Oh, cool.
um, Man, I'm torn between Seed and Witch from Mercury as number two.
Because for me, Double O is number
Number
2
one?
over Seed. Actually, yeah, it's number 1. It's number 1. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
because
about to
I'm,
say.
like, trying to think of, like, what other
Yeah, what
AU.
would be no, it is well, After War.
Oof, Gundam
I
X
gotta
is
say,
very
eh,
good,
1 and
yeah.
2, yeah. It's a
Uh,
slower show, but it has the things.
it does. It's got everything that makes it a Gundam. It's one of the Gundam shows that ever existed.
One of the Gundams, yeah.
Oh, man, but yeah, and so, I mean, personally, those are the kinda things that I'm missing because as a completionist, it bothers me not being able to finish those development trees in G Generation Eternal when you have like, "Hey, I only upgraded up to this season," and it's like, well, it's like I don't even like Double O, but I'm like, dude, I need to get those other units.
That's cool they got that because for me, it was UC, obviously, but I was like, I mainlined that when it first came out,
Yeah,
and then I stopped playing. It was so crazy. I was like, "I'm gonna unlock everything. Yes, my development trees." And then that was it.
and it's so dirty because like I said, it's almost unfair that if you unlock the AU units, the Hyakushiki, the Zeta Gundam, and the Gundam Mark II are such a dirty combination, and not only are they effective in the Zeta timeline, but they are effective in the double Zeta timeline, um, which yeah,
It's cool.
it's
I love that stuff. And speaking of Zeta, I talked to Steven about this already, but I got that metal build Zeta. I love it. Oh, it's so cool. Figure of the year already.
yeah,
Figure of the
I'm like, "Oh, hey, let me get my master grade Zeta." Oh,
year. Well, you do have the 2.0, right?
this is the 2.0, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, because
So
that's
it's
I
a
like
little
that.
sturdier than the, Verka, but I mean, still, I think that, like, just watching you hold the metal build, I'm like, that is so much Like, I still am kind of not 100% sure holding this guy up. I mean, well, maybe
Oh,
there's
that's
something there.
yeah, that's actually pretty good. Um, yeah, full
New
review.
pose unlocked. I still here's the crazy thing, and I think maybe I assembled it wrong, but, like, for some reason, it does not wanna stand up at all. Like, the backpack is way too heavy. And so typically what I have to do is I have to align the feet so that the heels don't touch the ground. Like, the feet
Oh,
are
interesting.
basically I put the Zeta up on its tippy toes, and that's the only way it stands.
Huh. Yeah, that's very interesting because I think the Verkaz is so light. It seems like the legs are just heavier.
Which
Hmm.
I know Gun Primer just released a new product that's like a oh, yeah.
The beads
Yeah.
that you put in the legs? Oh my gosh, that was so
Just to weight
awesome.
them down.
Did I send that to you?
I think I might have saw it on your channel or, like, on your Instagram, but,
Okay, is that what it was? Because I didn't know if, like, who do I send this to? Do I save it? What do I do? I'm bad at that stuff, so I'm just like,
it's funny you mention that because, like, what I had been doing was using, JB Weld's Steel Stick, which is it's a two-part epoxy putty. It's kinda like, if you've ever worked, like, green stuff where it's the yellow and blue and you mix it together till it turns green, uh,
oh,
JB Weld makes what they call Steel Stick, which is a two-part epoxy that has like iron powder like files in it mixed into it. And so what's nice is
wow.
it's like it feels like an epoxy putty and you can use it like an epoxy putty and fill the gaps inside of your Gundam, but also because it's got iron in it, it's magnetic. So then you can use
Oh, magnets. Oh,
yeah,
that's okay, I almost feel like that is like a new standard. You might as well weigh down your figures with this magnetic putty so then you can do
especially
multiple
if you put it
things.
in the feet and then you can have like magnetic bases that you just stand them up on.
Wow, Bandai, come on, we're doing all the work here. No, this is a
Speaking
really good idea.
ah, thank you. I mean, you gave it to me. I just
It's how it works, you know? It's how
yeah.
it works. You have the that's what they call what brainstorming, right?
Yeah, brain data storming, right?
Yeah, there you go, you know?
Um,
But yeah, seriously, that would be next up on your shop.
right, exactly. So speaking of doing all the work, Bandai, again, with the release of the Gundam card game, I was like, man, I guess I better start making some products in here. And so without burying the lead any further, I want to show you guys what I've got so far, show you guys what we're going to be doing today. Let's pull up the screen share here, open up Blender. Here is the two-part deck box that I'm designing specifically for the Gundam card game. I could design it in the way that a lot of other 3D printers design card boxes for decks where it's like, "Oh, it holds 60 cards." I mean, that's cool and all, but and I think I was showing you this earlier, Adam, is like, we have obviously the top and bottom here, but if we hide the
Yeah,
top, inside, you can see that we have installed some dividers here. And what that is for is specifically for the Gundam card game, which it's kind of a benefit that the Gundam card game has these different card limits. The Gundam card game, you are specifically limited to 50 cards, which means no more, no less, you have to have 50 cards in that largest slot right there. So that is your
okay,
main deck slot. Put your main deck in there. Additionally, you have to have a resource deck of 10 cards. 10 resource cards, that's your second slot right there. And there's a little divider in there to hold them separate so that you don't mix them with your main deck. And then finally, you have your, I would call it like your extra cards, which is half the size of your resource deck. You have your EX base, your EX resource, and if you have any token cards, you have up to 3 tokens that you can put in that slot there. So you've got all of your cards are separated and organized in such a way that you're not going to mix them up. You're not going to accidentally shuffle them together. I think that this is pretty cool.
yeah, this I realized what it is, you're activating so many neurons across so many people's consciousness. I mean, it doesn't matter, like, the organizational aspect of it. Don't people like buying stuff that organizes? I
I
know I do.
mean, that's like a whole like the container store is like one of my
Yeah.
favorite places to go.
That's right, there's a whole store called that. Like,
Yeah.
I walk down that section of Target, like, as I go to the toys, it's like I might as well look at whatever storage options they have.
Yeah, you gotta have a way to store your toys. Um, and then,
I
of
love
course,
that.
like, for illustrative purposes, this is what a mock card would look like, and not just a mock card, it is actually sized to be within a sleeve because I measured it, like, in a sleeve. This is kind of a smaller sleeve, this is like one of the penny sleeves. It's not gonna be one of those bigger ones that I think some people use where the card kinda slides around in it. If you guys can
Oh,
see on screen, this
I know what
sleeve
you're
is
talking
actually
about.
pretty tight to the card. So it's, 91 millimeters tall, 66 millimeters wide, and half a millimeter thick. So I'm building it so that you can put sleeved cards in it, but if you don't
That's
have
amazing.
sleeves, you can go, what's the word? Bareback?
I don't know for cards with a card
Card
back? I don't that doesn't
Now there are some optimizations that I think we need to make with this, obviously. So the first thing, when we look at this, this is in primitive shapes. I'm using just pure rectangles, which, is cool and all, but like ultimately we are gonna want some rounded edges. We're gonna want some grabability here, right? So one of the first things that I would do is hop in here. Let's go into edge grab mode, and we're going to grab all of the outer edges of our box here.
why don't you just make it the shape of the Zabi castle?
That's the next step for sure. Um, and we're just gonna do a little bit of beveling here. And as you guys know, I love to do everything mathematically. Obviously, you can pull this little thing and like bevel it by a whole lot. We're not going to do all that. We're probably going to bevel it by, let's say, 1 millimeter. So we'll have a 1 millimeter bevel in here. But the next thing we want to do is actually segment it. So instead of having flat edges like this, which could be cool, like it's got kind of a mecha look,
Yeah,
it's got hard edges. What I prefer to do is add additional edge loops in there, and what that's gonna do is make it like a little bit of a it's more like a rounded edge.
that's cool.
So, that is what we would be looking at, um, and then likewise, we're gonna have to do the same thing with the bottom here because we don't we want the edges to match up, right?
Yeah.
But this isn't even the most fun stuff that we're gonna be doing tonight.
Hmm.
And for those of you who looked at the, thumbnail of tonight's stream, that was, in fact, this box. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that I've already gotten, it's some foreshadowing for what's to come. So let's pull this bevel. We're going to do it 1 millimeter, and then I'm
Oh,
going
and
to
you know
segment.
what? GoGFX showed up right on time.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Now that is someone who is a professional 3D modeler compared to me and my amateur hour business. Yeah,
If you guys
Goji
joined
good to see you.
forces, it would be pretty amazing.
It'd be a terrifying combo to be sure. Um, so if we look at the 3D, like the skeletal view here, you can see where the overlap of the boxes is.
Oh, cool.
And so there is that little lip in there. One of the things that I did do, is the divider only is in the bottom. You don't have the dividers in the top. The reason I did that is because if you're gonna like close the
Oh,
box really quickly, the last thing you want to do is catch the cards on a corner, bend them, crush them. You don't want that. That'd be bad, bad time.
smart.
So the top of the box is completely open. The bottom of the box has the organizational features. Furthermore, if we're going to look at these organizational features, this is a not only in terms of 3D printing, but in terms of just a product design perspective, this is a major failing point. These little harsh corners here. Typically, when it comes to 3D printing, you don't want to print anything yet at like a 90-degree angle like that. Not only do you risk it warping and like bending and being in the wrong orientation, but, on top of that, in a use case scenario, let's say you're taking your deck, you're shuffling it up, you're putting it away in your box. That little corner edge there is going to take so much punishment that it basically opens it up to chipping and breaking that little corner off. We don't want that. So,
Damn, you thought of everything.
well, I tried to, it's like I think of the things like what would I like in a product
Before I
and
know it, you're
how
gonna
can we
talk about some sort of, like, quantum entanglement you've created within the bottom and top of the box, so I don't know. I'm going with that, but
um well, I am gonna show off. So basically the way that the internals of the box are designed is we have look at that. I gave away the lead. We don't want to show off the logo just yet. Um, so the internals of the box are designed by this cutaway. This cutaway actually, this is just like a Boolean operator. So any changes that I make to this are going to be reflected on the final box. So what we're going to do here is we're going to come in here to these hard edges where the dividers are, and we're just going to grab these four corners, and we're going to utilize that bevel feature one more time. And basically add what is called a chamfer, or I mean bevel, whatever you want to call it.
yeah,
Like honestly, we're gonna curve it so
yeah.
that it's not a hard edge. We're gonna, slightly give it an angle. Um, so let's go into our bevel modifier here, and we're just gonna pull it down. It's tough to see in here where that like little edge is, but I think what we should do. This is about 3 millimeters. I think if we make it 5 millimeters, so it's a 5 millimeter bevel inward. And again, we're going to go into our segments and increase the segments so that it adds a little bit of curvature to it. I think if we add like 10 segments, it's going to give it a nice rounded edge. So let's hop out of our modification here, hide our cutaway, and then pull up our deck box bottom. And now we have nice
Oh, wow.
rounded edges. Not only is that gonna print a whole lot better, but it is going to be better for our cards. We're not gonna, like, bend our cards hitting that hard edge. They're gonna be nicely aligned right
Yeah,
into the
it
slot
it looks like an inverted building from Batman the Animated Series.
there.
I don't
It
know
really
why I don't know why that came to me.
does. Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying, though. It's like, oh my gosh. So, now for the fun stuff. I feel like those are very, like, functional feature type things, and I've
Very
talked about this before.
informational. It's like
Yeah.
the depth I think that you thought about that. That's pretty I guess you had a lot of experience storing cards? Because I know you've talked about various card games in the past, but
You
storing
know,
them.
I've played a lot of card games. I used to use sleeves. These days, I really don't. Like, my Gundam
Okay,
cards are currently just like naked here. Um,
same.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty bad about storing my cards in a
That's
protective
why
way.
when like, yeah, I have them like below with me too. When you showed me this, I was like, "Dude, you have to yes, I gotta buy this." Because that's exactly what I would be buying anyway. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you take this to your tournaments, to your events and stuff. Make sure that your cards are protected.
Or just for my collection, like, because 'cause I'm really big into the collecting aspect for the cards, and I wanna have it of, like, the Federation, Xeon, and I would get I'd wanna buy one for each one, like
I'm glad you mentioned that because what I think we need to do is we need to decorate this thing. We need to make it so that
ooh,
it's actually pretty cool. Now, I am gonna add in some features like some thumb grips on the lid so that and like a locking tab so that the top will actually lock on to the base so that you can actually, connect it and not worry about the top falling off. Because right now, obviously, it's kind of free floating. But
oh, okay.
I think it would be more fun for you guys on stream instead of looking at the functional stuff to see some of the decorations and some of the cool designs that we're going to try to work onto this. So we obviously have the Gundam Card Game logo. That's okay, but I think we can do better, right? So uh we're going to go file, we're going to go
Haro?
import, and we're going to import an SVG.
No, Haro.
Um let's see here. What do you want to start with? Xeon, Sleeves, Neo Xeon, Federation, or Ostacasia?
AUG.
Oh, you son of a bitch. I don't have an AU one yet, but I will.
Federation.
Yeah, I figure Federation would be a good one. Now, right now, it's hidden down here, but here's what we're gonna do. We are going to rotate it on the x-axis 90 degrees. We're gonna scale it up by, well, what do you say, like 10? No, let's do 100. So there we start to see where our
Oh,
Earth
that's cool.
Federation logo is. So this is a logo that I designed, basically traced it in Adobe Illustrator so that it's a vector artwork. And by importing it into Blender, it's kind of like a cheat code because I can take this, we're going to right click on it, we're going to convert it to a mesh. And then when we go in here, we can say select all and extrude it by like, I don't know, what do you
Wow.
think? Like 2.5 millimeters.
I don't know.
And now we have a 3D object that is our Earth
That's neat.
Federation emblem.
Wow. And so what are you thinking? Like, it would be or you would buy the box that would be printed on there, or could that be part of the clasp of how it closes it?
That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. I don't want to.
Because that would make it complex in a way.
Yeah, but I think that that would give it some visual interest, right? Like, it
Yeah.
would be super easy to just like, well, maybe we just print the bottoms and then we print the tops with like a logo kind of etched into them like this. But I think that we could probably do better than that, right? Like, if we were to, hmm,
Oh, what if they're actually separate because it's interchangeable or it's a set you buy and then they have pegs on the top and bottom, so that's how you're closing it.
exactly. I kind of think like, what if we were to let's add a circle mesh. We're going to rotate it on the x-axis 90 degrees. We're going to scale it up. What do you think? If we make it like so this will be a 20 millimeter circle. Oh, that's probably not big enough. We want it to be bigger than that. So let's I'll scale it up by like 2.5. Ooh, that might be a little too big. Let's scale it up by 2. So what if, like you said, um oh, did that? No, I want to go in edit mode, face, and extrude by like 3 millimeters. So let's say we have this like almost like a clasp that overlaps right in the middle of the boxes, and then the emblem on the clasp can be swapped out and alternated based on what deck you have. Um, I mean, heck, we could even have it on both sides so that you could have like you could even customize it
Oh.
to the point where it's like Federation on one side and Orb on the other, or like Neo Xeon and Ostacasia, or you know, Oz from Gundam Wing and like I don't know, Neo Tokyo from G Gundam, something like
Yeah.
that. Where you can because obviously the decks themselves are all two colors, so like 2 factions is kind of a it's kind of built in, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that's the way to go.
So, let's see here. Um, this is at 21.25 on the y-axis. Let's go ahead and copy that. I wanna make sure that we align this really, really well. So, we're gonna put it right here. Oh, nope. I wanna make sure that we select all of it. And then we are gonna put it we're gonna line it up as perfectly as we can to these dimensions. So on the z axis, it's 54.05, 54.05. Let's set the x to 0 so that it's dead center. So this will be like a clasp that basically overhangs from the top to the bottom. And one of the things I like to do is I like to do these things in non-destructive ways. So what we're going
Yeah.
to do is we're going to duplicate this. And then to this circle, we are going to add a solidify modifier. The reason we are doing this is to create an effective tolerance clearance for it. So like we're going to do this at 0.05. We're going to fill the rim of it.
Oh, is this
And
to, like, how you're trying to get it lined up so when the top or the bottom meets with it?
exactly. So what I'm going to do is take this deck box on the bottom and we're going to do a boolean on that first circle that we applied those modifiers to. And what you'll see is that the cutaway actually has like a
Hmm.
little bit of space in there, so that then when we take this one and let's just go ahead and hide it. And then this one, we are going to add another Boolean operator, but this is going to be, instead of a difference, we're going to do a union and we are going to select circle 001. And now we have, oh, I guess it doesn't work when it's not attached, but the idea is that now the deck, the top part of the box can like
Hmm,
click into the bottom part of the box.
that's pretty neat.
Although I'm probably going to need to carve this up a little bit, right? Because like it needs to not have a rounded edge on the inside.
Yeah, that seems like some maths,
Yeah,
some
it seems like a
geometry.
poor design on my part. um,
That
so if we
yeah,
bring back this guy right here, here's what we're gonna do. We'll hide that, and then we're going to use face select mode. Oh, you know what? There's actually a way to do this. We're just gonna go command and then select that. And here's what we're going to do is just pull it straight up.
oh, okay.
And the reason we do that is you
Yeah.
see how now the cutaway is like
Yeah, it makes where it could yeah, just
it's a
go in like that.
perfect divot and the circle can slide right in.
But then you're gonna have to probably go through iterations of testing in order to kinda get the right friction down, right?
Maybe so, maybe so. I
I
think,
mean
I have determined that 0.05 millimeters is like
okay.
the sweet spot, at least on my printer, as far as like,
So you've done
tolerance
that before.
go.
You've messed with that before and you kinda get okay, because that seems like that would be the hardest thing to anticipate. But I guess if you've done it enough.
Yeah, this is not my, first rodeo, as they say.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
so
like the ball joint thing is
oh,
it's all
dude,
about that. Yeah, that's
terrible, terrible. Um, but the other thing that I'm gonna mention is, well, there's a few things that we need to address, right? So first of all, um, you don't want these kind of low poly circles in your mold, right? So what we're gonna need to do is, um, let's see, we are going to need to select some faces here, and we are going to set the mean crease to 1. And then we're going to have to add a subdivision surface modifier to make those edges nice and round. And so let's see if we hide that, and then we're going to do the same thing with this one. Oh, that's the deck box. We want the circle. Well, get out of edit mode. Jeez. um, all right, circle. We're going to select the front face and the back face. We're going to set the mean crease to 1. We are going to add that subdivision surface modifier and set the detail to 3. Tab out of edit mode, and now we have a nice
wow,
smooth edge instead of that like jagged.
right. PS1.
Yeah, we do not want any Lara Croft physique in here. So that looks nice and smooth, looks a lot better. Likewise,
It's like a
when it
Pokeball
comes
from another dimension. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why these things are coming to me.
likewise, we have some hard edges when it comes to this crest, this logo, right? So we are going to want to come in here and find a way to really make this look a little bit, give it some dimension, give it some depth, you know.
Oh, yeah, like having it stick out to a point?
Yeah, and that can be difficult. It
I
can
would
be
think so.
difficult than you imagine.
Yeah.
Um,
No,
so
I can see, I don't need to imagine. This looks difficult.
So the first thing that we're going to do is actually get rid of all of these faces that are geometrically accurate, but they create problems for us when it comes to creating these designs. We want these things to look like ngons. So we're going to create this giant face. And I'm sure I've talked about this, in previous streams where when designing for 3D printing, and designing in 3D in general, basically everything has to be triangles. Like there's no such thing as not triangles in 3D
Oh,
printing and in 3D modeling.
yeah.
However, for some things you need there to be more than 3 points. And so what we do is we try to design using the n-gons, and then we'll triangulate the faces after the fact. Um, what
Can't
in the
say I
world?
understood that, but I'm sure you out
This
there.
is like I think that there's, like, something jagged and messed up going on here. Let's just see if we can't select all of these faces. There's just some really, really small faces in here that
Oh,
are
wow.
yeah, like, man, if we had missed those, it would have made an absolute nightmare of a problem. Because really what we wanna do is we wanna select every face on the front of this design and make sure that they're all one face.
Oh, like
And then
that.
from there, we can do some interesting stuff. We'll try to, like, inset them a little bit and, let's see, zoom in here. Oh, man. This is, like, making me sick. I know you mentioned you get, like, motion sickness from
VR.
playing, like, VR games, right?
But it's like the but it's weird because it's like I get sick when I stop.
Oh, interesting. So it's not
Yeah.
even like
It's not even necessarily in it. It's like I start yeah, when I get out of it, it's like I it's hard to explain. Um,
no, I mean, I believe it. It's like,
it
you kind of your, circadian like, your internal equilibrium gets adjusted to the VR, and then, like, when you get out of it
okay. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, that would happen with Star Wars Squadrons on PlayStation VR. Loved the game, but, if I did it too long, when I would get out, it would be like, "That's
yeah,
interesting." I wonder how much that means we're orienting to something that's not real.
that's a scary thought.
Yeah, right? That's interesting. But interesting that you don't necessarily feel that when you're dreaming. Now, I don't know why all this is coming to me.
Well, I
That's for
guess you
another
feel it when you're falling in your dreams, right? And you get that, like
Oh, true, you will feel that, yeah. Um,
but it's a very simulated feeling, right?
yeah, yeah.
So now that we have all of those faces on the front side of this logo selected, we can inset by like, whoa, my goodness, that is going to be awkward, but we'll clean it up. Don't worry about that.
Mm,
Actually, I think there might be a way. Let's see. If we set the, do we do it by individual? No, that doesn't help. What about boundary? That doesn't help. Outset? No, we don't want that. We want, there's a way to do like even thickness around, but I don't think it's going to help us in this particular case. But that's okay. We are going to work with what we've got here. The question is, how deep do we want our inset to be?
mm.
Ooh, it's tough to say. Um, I think that for the purposes of this, let's call it like This is 0.006. So if we do 0.05, that's way too much. 0.005. Let's do 0.01. It's not great, but I think we can work with it.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot we need to clean up here because there's some faces that were created that should
Huh.
not exist.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
um, so let's just delete that face, and then we'll delete these kind of extraneous faces here.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, sometimes you're gonna get this with like with your Blender modifiers where some things are just the transforms are gonna be a little awkward. But we're just gonna delete out some of these things and then we can clean it up afterwards. Not a huge deal, but it is, it's annoying a little bit.
Yeah. These are the things that come up that make me sometimes be like, "Okay, I'm gonna stop for now."
Well, and like so for instance, this here in the middle, I would almost want this to be like a beveled
It comes to a point.
central point, right?
Yeah.
So like what I would do is we can select these 4 points, right click and do merge vertices at center, and
Oh, wow.
then and so then now we have the ability to like raise that central point.
Ah, yeah.
That's what we're going for.
That looks good.
But it's difficult to do that like kind of out of the box.
Yeah.
Or is it?
Well, I don't know.
Let's
I mean, you kinda just did.
so I did just do it, but I think can we do it without can we do it
Oh,
without
without
yeah,
having to do all that, yeah.
let's if we come back to before we did all that mess, and we say grab this vertice and this vertice, and we're gonna say J to join. So that creates that line right there. And then we'll grab this vertice at the front and ooh, here's the problem is we don't have one down here at the bottom, but that's okay. We can work with that because we're just gonna join these two.
We'll just make new shapes.
We're gonna create shapes out of absolutely nothing. Subdivide it so that we've got one dead center, and then we're gonna grab this one, which is also dead center. We hit J to join them, and now we have a vertice right here in the middle that we can raise up,
Wow.
and that looks I mean, that just
You
gives
just
it
did it.
that depth.
Yeah, because that's how you see them on the mobile suits when they have them. I like that, GM from Thunderbolt, it has it on the head.
Yeah, like, right there on the
Yeah, love it.
so I think that that's gonna look a lot cooler when it's in 3D and, we've got that texture to it,
Yeah.
which speaking of, man, I can't believe well, we can deal with that here shortly, but, I think we need to do the same thing here with, like, these points. We'll join them together, and then we right click and subdivide, which gives us that point right there in the middle. And then this is where I'm not sure if this will work or not. But what we're going to do is we're going to take this point, we're going to grab the point way up here in the corner, of which there are actually several. um, I think this is the highest point is that one. So this is where it's going to get kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Is can we select these two central points? We're going to join them together, and you see it created this weird
Yeah.
thing where obviously it's trying to join the points where there's no face there. Um, but if we were to bevel that, ooh, it's not working exactly how I anticipated.
Yeah.
I guess what we'll have to do is instead subdivide it, and then we can grab that center pixel and bring it down. Basically, what I'm trying to do is create a curve that we can then use as our
Yeah.
bevel for the bottom arch here.
Yeah,
Um,
that would look great.
and I think that the trick to that is going to be selecting these lines and creating like a we create like an arc out of nothing here. So we'll subdivide it again and then subdivide it again. We go back into vertice select mode. We grab this and then we can okay, good. We already have proportional editing on. Go page up. You can see that the area of effect is increasing here.
Oh, wow, interesting.
It's almost what we want, although we don't want it
Wow.
to affect everything else. We only want it to
Yeah.
affect that line that's attached to it. Um, so it's like somewhere between these 2 points is
Hmm.
where the sweet spot is. But it's looking better.
Yeah, that's
Um,
awesome. Yeah, that
and like if I were to grab that and then bring it forward. Ooh, no, we don't want proportional editing on for that part. We just want to raise it up, and then we kind of get
mhm.
that.
Yep.
It's not that's not as good as I think we can do. I think we can do a lot better. But before we sign off for the evening, I do want to add one little edit to our coin shape here because it just occurred to me that like, this circle could be a little cooler looking. So if we were to tab into that and we go into face mode, we select the face here. We're going to do the same thing that we did before, where we inset by one is probably too much. Let's do like point one, point two
Oh,
five. So we create that inset, and then we will grab the rim here and extrude it forward by like 0.5 millimeters.
dang. That's cool.
And now we have like almost like a little coin rim that goes around our design.
Yeah, that's good. Wow.
So there's still a lot of work to do as far as the logos go, but I think that being able to swap out the logos as coins
Yeah.
instead of as the logos themselves is going to give us a little bit more flexibility because then like I said, you've got your Earth Federation logo. If you just want the Gundam card game logo, we can do that and just do 0.75. Well, probably need to do it like half size and then align it to the center here. Bring it forward. So we can do just the card game logo. As I mentioned, I have a few other ones here we can import as SVGs. Let's do that Ostacasia one. Um, oh, this actually ended up being like several curves all in one, which I understand why because it's technically like several objects. So if we convert them all to meshes and we join them, and then we are going to tab in, select all, rotate on the x-axis 90 degrees, scale them up by 100. It's almost like I've got these recipes that that we
Yeah.
can follow. Um, let's hide the Gundam card game logo. Let's extrude this by 2 millimeters. Select all, and we're just gonna put it right in the middle. Like, ooh, it's a little big. Let's scale it down by like that much. We can leave edit mode and like try to align it centrally on our disk here. So there you go. If you need a card box for your Witch from Mercury units, you can look like the holder.
That is cool.
I think that there's a lot of potential here.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So, like I said, there's a few things that we need to design. I think that now having that little cutaway, that divot there, is going to allow us to put in a locking tab so that the top can lock in.
Yeah.
Again, like I mentioned, I wanna put some, like, indentations here on the left and right side for your thumbs so that you have something to grab onto, something satisfying to, like, hold the deck box by. Um, so yeah, coming soon to midnighthatter.store.
Oh, I wonder if she'd have a keychain slot. You know how people have they'll have the Gunpla and those big plastic things as keychains?
Oh,
Have
you
you
know
seen
what?
that?
That's not a bad idea doing that at some point in the future.
Yeah.
Um,
There's something
I
there.
am wondering though, like, so for instance, that's like the deck box, right? The last thing I guess I can show off is that I do have the dice sort of designed.
Oh, that's
This
cool.
is a six, well, it's a cube. This is a 16 millimeter cube. It is the size of a default like six-sided die, and obviously I did some rounded edges there. But like in theory, it doesn't need to be a 16 millimeter cube. Like we could probably cut that in half because you're only going to use it to measure the damage dealt to your tokens and to your
Hmm.
cards. Like I think that we could probably go smaller, and then what that's going to allow me to do is add that additional slot in the deck box so that you can have six
Oh, yeah.
dice put inside.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm digging this.
It's a fun project for sure.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it anyway.
Yeah, it looks good.
But yeah, thank you for suffering through that with me, Adam.
Oh, no. Hey, I'm learning something new every time.
And for those of you who think that I've completely given up Gunpla, not the case. In fact, here I've got this is the no grade Gundam Nataku Ultron from Endless Waltz. This is one of the Dragon Fangs that I have made some
Oh.
alterations to. Um, if you can see here, we have some spots in the eyes for
Oh.
LEDs, and so that is going to be the upgrade feature for our Gundam Nataku is going to be some wireless LEDs in the Dragon Fangs. I'm really excited to share that. Actually, these are some techniques that were shared with us by Pencil Knights using the
Oh.
UV resin to fill in these gaps that I made in the model. Um, Super stoked on this.
Yeah, that's a surprise. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I'm not just doing card game stuff and G Generation Eternal. I'm still
Yeah,
doing some Gunpla.
yeah. That's
But
cool.
yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. Sorry we went a little bit over. Um, as always, we've got the Gundam Explained show tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. And yeah, if you haven't, definitely check out the unboxing of the Metal Build
Oh,
Zeta
yeah. That's
that
right.
I'm thoroughly jealous of.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's about all I've got going on for tonight. Stay tuned because I think we might be announcing a giveaway here next month for our mutual birthdays. We'll call it our birthday
Oh,
giveaway.
that's right. Oh, man, that's around the corner.
It is, it is. So yeah, stay tuned for that, you guys. And until next time, have a great night. Thank you, Adam, as always.
Yeah.
Cheers.
See y'all.